We're going to talk about lots of sort of the themes that Tessa mentioned. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to try and talk through this sort of what does it mean to create an edge. And as we sort of mentioned, as Tessa mentioned, feel free to put any questions or thoughts or anything that kind of crop up either in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll have some time at the end. The last 15 or 20 minutes we'll be able to address lots of sort of the questions, the comments that you might have about the presentation and so forth. So okay, let's launch in, and I want to sort of start with a very quick story about one of the first jobs that I had coming out of my MBA program. I was a engineer by training, and worked in engineering for quite a long time in a very, very technical role. And then I went to get my MBA. And when I was getting my MBA, I remember asking everyone sort of, what's the quickest way to pay off student loans? Because I had all these student loans to pay off, not just from the MBA, but also from my undergraduate years. And so I sort of said to everyone, how do you pay off student loans? What's the best job you can get? How do you pay off student loans? And everyone said, go into iBanking, right? I kept hearing, go into iBanking, go into iBanking. And so I remember even turning to a friend of mine and saying to her, wow, this internet banking thing is really big these days. I had no idea that iBanking stood for investment banking. I thought it stood for internet banking. And so you can imagine that when I finally did get a job in investment banking, which I was able to do, I was really feeling like I was behind. Like I had something to prove, that I didn't know the lingo, I didn't come from sort of that background. And so I really felt like I wanted to put in the hard work. I wanted to make sure that I showed people that I belonged, that I deserved a seat at the table, that I belonged in this role and in this job. And so one of the first projects that I was assigned to was this mergers and acquisitions deal, where my VP came to me and said, we have this client, and this client's trying to figure out who to acquire. Should they acquire company A, company B, or company C? So which of these three targets? So what we need you to do is put together an economic model. And so put together an economic model that will help us figure out quantitatively which company, which target A, B, or C, that we should go after to acquire. So my team and I spent 2 months putting together this model with different states of the world, different interest rates, different assumptions, and we presented it at the end of this 2 months to the client and to the VP. And the sort of feedback that we got was sort of phenomenal. They said, okay, this is an amazing model. It has everything in it that we would like it to have. It has all of your assumptions. It's got different interest rates, different states of the world. This is a perfect model. So what does it tell us? And I said, this model tells us that we should go with company B, that we should acquire target B. And I remember that the VP and the client sort of exchanged glances with each other. And then they turned to me and they said, yeah, you know, we think this is an amazing model. It has everything in it that we would want it to have. There's only one problem. And the problem is we already decided to go with target A. We already decided to acquire company A. So can you now fix your model to make it say that we should go with company A? And so I remember kind of thinking at the time, right, a couple of different things, but one of the main things that I was thinking was that this aspect of hard work, right, that we had spent so much time and effort, we had put in 2 months of hard work into this. And it's true that from a young age, we're often taught that success is about hard work, right, that our parents, like people that we respect, people that are at the top of their game, CEOs, Olympic gold medalists, world record breakers, right? You ask them, what's the secret to success? And inevitably, one of the things they'll mention is hard work, right? Keep putting in the hard work, just keep going after your dreams, working hard. And yet the thing about hard work is that at some point in our lives, either very consciously or deep down, we recognize that hard work alone is not enough. Now, that's not to say that hard work isn't critical, right? But it's to say that hard work may be critical, but yet we have such a love affair these days with hard work and grit. And we talk about these things as if having hard work and grit is what's going to give you ultimately success. And yet again, we know that hard work alone is not enough. And that's because it's often about the signals and the perceptions and the stereotypes of others. That you can take two different people who work equally as hard, and one person will be ultimately more successful because a lot of success and outcomes are driven by signals and perceptions and biases and stereotypes and the attributions that others are making. That it's not just about hard work, that hard work alone is not enough.